been notified recently that my friend Tim Kilgore, my fellow wrestling fan and my fellow opposer of the Watchtower, will be wrestling his last match tomorrow night on Saturday, November 19th. He sent me an invite to it on Facebook, and being that I live in Pittsburgh and his last match is going to be happening in, I think, Massachusetts, won't be able to attend. But I promised him I would do a video and dedicate it to the fact that he's having his final match. And this video, I'm afraid the Watchtower is not going to be run through the mud on this one. This is no theology, no this or that. This is just, all I can promise you from this one is a good laugh. So here it goes. A friend of mine, he is a manager for a local, for some of the local Pittsburgh independent wrestling leagues. He'll work as a manager, and oftentimes he will, if they're having like former WWF or WWE guys on the show, he will pick them up from the airport. Always has a great time doing that. And no two ways about it, one of the guys who loves to tell stories, and I think, excuse me, I think Tim will agree with him, and perhaps some of his stories need to be taken with a grain of salt, but they're good stories, is this former WWE guy, the Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man is telling my friend this story about how he had to pick up the Iron Sheik in Buffalo or someplace south of the Canadian border and drive him into Niagara Falls for a show they were doing, and this was right after 9/11. Okay, you've never watched wrestling a day in your life. Who's the Iron Sheik? Well, the Iron Sheik is the guy that Hulk Hogan beat in 1984 to kind of kick off, to win the belt and more or less kick off the rock and wrestling era. Back in his day, he was kind of like he is of Middle Eastern descent, and he was always the Middle Eastern, Iran is #1 bad guy kind of thing. That's who the Iron Sheik is. Iron Sheik is stark raving nuts in real life. I mean, the man is a lunatic, as this story is going to show you. He loves to drink. He loves to party. I'm not glorifying it, I'm just stating it that, it's always a wacky madcap adventure with the Sheik. That's the word from the wrestlers. So, this is right after 9/11, and the Honky Tonk Man has to pick Sheik up in America and bring him across the Canadian border. And he's scared out of his mind. He's saying to the promoters, telling him, "Oh, go ahead, buddy, you just got to pick him up, bring him into Canada." And Honky Tonk Man's like, "Look, I forget what the promoter's name is. Let's say it's Lou. The border is hot. Sheik is a Middle Eastern guy. Sheik does all kinds of crazy stuff in cars. We're both going to get arrested. You'll probably never see us again." And be like, don't worry about it, buddy. It'll be okay. Standard fast-talking wrestling promoter sleaze bag. He's like, "It'll be alright." And the Honky Tonk Man tells my friend the story. He's like, "And I'm back on the other end of the line." Honky Tonk Man's from Memphis. "I'm back on the other end of the line saying, no, it's not." But he had to go pick up Sheik in Buffalo. So he picks up Sheik in Buffalo. Sheik's toting his bottles of booze, his 6-packs of beer, and various other less than legal entities into the car for him to have a good time. And Honky Tonk Man is like freaking out. It's like, Sheik, baby, you've got to put that under the seat and just let us get across the border. Then he's like, "Oh, Honky, baby." Probably doing a bad Iron Sheik. "Honky, baby, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Sheiky, baby, and you're going to have a good time." So, all kinds of hell is breaking loose in the car. And they're pulling up the border. Honky's heart is just beating out of his chest. He's like, "Sheik, please put it under the seat now, please." Sheik puts all the crap under the seat. And they pull up to the border. And they're both just trying not to look too nervous. Well, Sheik's not nervous. Honky Tonk Man's. The border guard saying, "What are you going to be doing in Canada?" "Oh, we're just here to work for a day or two." And then he looks over at the Sheik rather inquisitively. He's like, "Sir, where are you from?" And with this thick Iranian accent, he's like, "Atlanta, Georgia." And they said, which he was from Atlanta, Georgia. That is true. He's like, tell me your telephone number. And the Sheik's brain is so fried from age and all the stuff he's done over the years. This is a legit answer. He says, what's your telephone number? He's like, I don't know. Which he didn't. He didn't know his phone number. He's like, what part of Atlanta, Georgia are you from? And the Sheik blows up at him and says, I already told you I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, you effing jabroni. He didn't say effing. And according to the honky tonk man, he got detained at the Canadian border. Sheik got detained at the Canadian border. They let Honky go through, and he missed the show. So yeah, that's an Iron Sheik story for you, Tim. I hope retirement treats you well, and I hope you enjoyed that story, my friend. God bless.